Hey guys, FallenDice, and welcome to episode 11 of FallenDice Plays Better Than BuildCraft. And I decided that I would start this one out by showing you guys the changes I had made to my pottery setup. If you've been trying to kind of follow along and do some of the stuff, you realize that there's a huge cost as far as soul urns in making everything. So I had gone back and done a little bit of an update on what I had. My original setup back here hasn't changed. So if you're kind of curious about that, episode 6, I'll put a link up there, is where I'd put in my auto kiln and my auto turntable. They work nice there. Let me throw in a couple little things just to show you real fast. Basically, you feed it in from here. It automatically it has a it's using a timer back there to time when the piston back there pushes out the unfired pottery. So depending on what the speed of the turntable is, it gives you the different items. It'll spit it out, and then once it spits it out, the detector block will automatically add another one because it's offset from the piston. Over here, I have my automatic kiln. The dispenser block here, again like before, is set to dispense after these two pistons back here push what's in front out, so it makes it nice and automatic. I got the glass here just to prevent it from spitting out onto here and getting caught up on the ledge here. Not necessary, but that way I just feel better that I'm not losing a couple. Over here I have my my mills, which are putting out my ground netherrack, feeding a powered hopper, so it's feeding it all down into here. And then over here, and this is almost identical to how Renevo has designed this, but this is the vertical, and not only vertical but dry soul urn maker. So you can actually use this in the nether. I used it not because it's dry, but because of its small footprint. So I was actually able to fit it in this room with everything else, so I can keep everything, you know, nice and convenient to go back and forth between without having to run to multiple floors and whatnot. So basically, you put that in there, flip the switch, and those dispensers are opposite of a piston back here. So when it's powered, the dispensers will shoot out the ground netherrack, and then when it flips, it'll pull the piston back, allowing them to drop onto this hopper with the soul sand, give me my hellfire dust, and then it'll flip back where it'll push the piston out and it'll push the hellfire dust down to catch in this hopper, and those will eject some more. The soul urns will then collect in this hopper down here, and I had to kind of make that trap door because I was having issues with having this hopper up here. It was catching some of the ground netherrack, preventing it from becoming hellfire, and preventing the soul or the urn from collecting the souls, and it would actually stop my system. So this prevented that from happening. I just had to add that little extra step in there. But if I go ahead and turn this on, there we go. Step back, you see it just keeps alternating. Soul urn after soul urn after soul urn. Yeah, so that's my new setup. If you have any questions on it, let me know. I'll add links to all the different tutorials. I'll add a link for Renevo's tutorial on how he designed and built this, as well as links to my auto kiln and to episode 6 of the Let's Play where I built the turntable. So, all right, with that done, let's go ahead and let's move on to some bigger and better BuildCraft stuff. Alright, we're back, and so I had to do a couple house cleaning items and fix a couple things. First off, I love when that happens. Got free goodies coming down. Right, so I had to fix a couple things. I received the message that the 3x3 infinite water source I was using for water worked, but that I should actually be putting my pump in the corner as opposed to the middle where I was. and it working fine, so I hadn't thought to do any changes to it. And then last night or this morning, the engines running my quarry exploded. So being that I wasn't there, I can only assume that it was the water, because when I got there, the water source was still off a ways away, and there was nothing water in it, and didn't look like it had exploded and lost the water that way. So first off, we went into the our coolant area and decided to put them in the corner. Also did a little bit more decorating. I threw a couple paintings in for my little entry area just because I felt like it. So I got some other things to show as we go, but we'll show off our water first, being as whatever we do, the important thing is always going to be cooling. We want to make sure we're cooling. Got my refinery running, and it's been running for a while now. I got quite a bit of fuel. Got up to there, and I've been pumping some over to here as well. So, and I'm almost completely out of oil, so I'm just basically running it dry. Once I'm out of oil, then I can go and find my new spot that I'm going to pump from. But yeah, so here we are. Got it in the corner. Had to do a little adjusting on where I ran my pipes to get it to, I guess, look the best and ease of access. This isn't going to be here for much longer, because our next project is to put in my first full power plant with my gates and everything. So how this is going to be working from now on is I will be having pipe signals coming down to here, and anytime any of my um, power plants are activated, it'll automatically turn this on. So this will always be on when I'm running, and same thing, we'll be running fuel, a fuel line, all the different things that are required to keep this running will also automatically activate, in addition to to the engines themselves. So it'll be fully automated with a fail-safe that if that engine, or I haven't figured exactly how yet, but if that engine stops pumping or if we have no more water coming, it will also shut off the plant. Also, instead of adding on to this, I'm just going to leave this one here. We're going to put in our first full plant in this one here. It's closer to where my assembly room is, and I just felt like putting it over here. I think it's going to work out better. I also made a change to, first of all, this room, which was going to be my second assembly room, but I realized I really only need 2 assembly sections, so I can use one room for that. So this is now going to be converted into power plant 3. So instead of having 12 engines running, I will be able to have, or no, is it 4 times 3? Okay. Instead of 24, I'll have 36 engines, so I'll be able to have a little bit more power. And while right now this is like a little storage room, once I actually have to use this room, I will be knocking out that wall and incorporating that into it to make it big enough. I also changed how the laser set up. So each one of these is going to have 8 lasers powering this, so even when it's switching back and forth, it should have 4 on each of these running, so she'll speed things up a little bit. Got the power running like this. Once I get another set of engines, and as soon as I get my plant built here, I will stop coming off of there, and it'll instead come over to here. But we'll have it set up to power all this. There's about a bunch more stuff about to be coming up over here, because that's the next item to show, and I'm actually kind of excited about it because I had to think a little bit how I wanted to do this. And while I wish I had a little bit more room right outside the wall here, I got that small bit of room going between here and my factory, and over there it would require me knocking down and redoing a lot of stuff. So it's a small room, but here is our activation room, or what did I call it out here? This is the power plant generator selection room. So the way it works, you can see I kind of have a sample set up over there, but These currently are the light blocks from Better Than Wolves. I'm gonna wait till 1.2 is incorporated into Better Than BuildCraft, and we'll see if the redstone lights actually look better than this, because I don't really know how to update texture packs other than what the Painterly does, Painterly pack, and unfortunately they don't include the Better Than Wolves stuff, so I wasn't able to change how this looks. And barring myself going out and getting uh, some expensive program and trying to do it that way, kind of stuck where I am. So I'll probably end up, if it looks better, switch to those. And it also depends on if they put off power to the surrounding blocks, because that is how I'm actually going to use these. So as you see, you click that and the light comes on. So we come back here. Here's how we're going to do it. The block that the switch is on, I've got redstone on, and so in the off position, the redstone will be on. If you would look over here, I have the gate to say if the redstone signal is off to send a red pipe signal. So when I flip the switch in there and the light block turns on, the redstone torch will turn off, and this will give me power, and that's how we'll activate our engines. So we come over here, flip our switch. Now you see the redstone's gone off, or the redstone torch has gone off, and the redstone is now activated, and we see we have a true. So I'll be able to do that with all of these. They'll be popping up through the ceiling, and then we'll start routing from there over to the actual engine rooms. So as I add more and more engines, you may start getting complicated upstairs. I may have to go with a second level of a second attic area to run my power. But we'll see. But today, all we really need to do is 4. And the 4 will be the 3, the 3 that we're about to build in here, and the 4th one, which is already built. So all I really need to do is knock out those 2 blocks, and then throw the AND gate here inside, and then run the piping up to there, and that'll give me control over that one as well. So I went through and I did all the work of kind of pre-staging some supplies here, and I don't really know how many of which type, because I'm going to need, so I just kind of made a lot of a bunch of different ones. I know for a fact now that the iron gate will work for a single color, so I may go back and make some more of those if for like I said, like the ones where I'm only taking one signal in, and then I can always swap it for the diamond or the gold that I use for right now, and save those for more complicated things. Um, I'm also going to be running power from probably this one down and over to my quarry, and I'm just going to use this 4 engine setup to power my quarry. So I made a ton of these conductive pipes, and then we'll go ahead and run that out to there. So with a flip of the switch over here, I can turn on and off my quarry. Plus I won't have any engines to cool out there, it'll just be what's in here, so it should be easier and I think more safe to run. So I guess without further ado, we'll start setting up that first engine. I had these floor planks put in to show where I'm going to be setting the bottom engine here, kind of spacing wise. The room's big enough to allow me to get all the way around the whole plant. One extra space on either side, and then a couple spaces over there. So we'll just go ahead and grab our supplies and we'll get started. Alright, so the way we'll do this, we'll start our first one up there. Throw our conductive intake, which makes it easier for us to place it. They'll automatically face the way they're supposed to. We're going to throw the gate on, and what I'm using is the golden AND gate. And actually, let me put some piping on there first. I think we'll make this one the red, And red and blue are the two that are that work with gold. So it's gotta be that. Um, and then I guess I'll have to use diamond for the other ones. The way I want to do this is I want to use the AND gate here. So we're going to have two signals coming in. So we'll go like this first. Um, the first one is going to be that if we have a red pipe signal coming in, we're going to provide power. Um, and we want the AND gate here, like I said. So the second part is going to be if we have a blue pipe signal coming in, we'll do power. So basically, these engines will not run unless they receive both a red pipe and a blue pipe signal. The red one is going to come from my switch over there, which turns on this set of engines. The blue will be coming from this water pipe, or this pump right here. So basically, we'll put a gate over here. I'll have to get one. And this is going to say if this engine is running in either blue, green, or orange. We don't want it in red, because if it's in red, it may be in danger of exploding. And if this thing were to ever explode and stop feeding water, I don't want anything else to. So if this engine is in either blue, green, or red, it'll send a blue signal back. And that's going to go to all the different engines. But that way, these engines here will not run unless the water pump is on and the switch here is on. So both those have to be on for this to work. And then, which point I think we run out two pipes like this. Was it? Trying to remember. It might just be the one, cause nope, going into it. Yeah, we got the that one's there. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, nope. So that's good. And then the power will end up running up there. All right. I suppose I could probably go through and just do it all at the same time. That actually makes sense. Alright, now the reason why this is here is because we don't want the power from here feeding into there and possibly turning these engines on. The only way these engines are going to turn on is going to be from the gate that activates it. But it also gives us the ability to only have to route the signal coming from the control room once, because it'll come down whichever one the closest one is, and it'll send all through all of these, and they'll of course only, like I said, this one only activates with a red and a blue. This one will activate with a yellow and a blue, and this one will activate with a green and a blue. And they'll be able to the pipe signal will be able to go through, so we don't have to keep running 4 separate pipes with different pipe signals. So it'll kind of save us from the craziness that could be if we were having to run too many different signals, I should say. All right. Once we get the power section of this done, then we can start running the water, and then after the water we can run the fuel, and then I need my gates, and then we can start testing. Alright, now the next part is going to be water. So we'll grab our waterproof piping. I'll deal with those more later. And the way we had it set up, we got water for you and water for you. And then the same thing over here. Fuel and fuel. And then we just gotta route it through the ceiling. Alright, and our water pipes are fed now. Like I said, I'm just gonna use the same fuel line that I was using for over here. And I think I'm gonna do the exact same thing where I'm just gonna almost run them directly down just to give us more walk around space. I don't want things to be too cramped. If I have to change it, once we get down, we'll find out if I have to for to keep it from looping. That's the other thing. I don't know if I've talked about it yet, but you see this? If I were to stick, say, a pipe here, this will really hurt your water pressure. It creates loops that really affects the way the fluids run through the pipes. So you got to make sure it only follows one path, and that would be why we had to go here. Okay, and that makes sense. We don't want to yeah, I gotta, oh crap. Yeah, we don't want the pipes connecting. That's a bad thing. So, and apparently I didn't do it at all. Yes, I did. Okay, I did it on both of them. All right, so I do have to go. That's what I was afraid of. But it, nothing's broken, and it's all good. All right, so I may have to switch the array. All right, let me figure this out here real fast because I gotta remember exactly how I ran this. All right, so there we go. This one comes down, and again, we're trying to avoid those loops and from connecting to the other one. And then that one comes down like that, which means we're gonna have to do something very similar on both sides. All right, there's that one. Yeah, that looks right. And then the same thing on this one. Let's see, come down here. Alright, cool. And then we'll go ahead and close the ceiling back up. Once I get this successful on one, then I'll just go through and I'll do the other ones on my own. I just wanted to kind of show how we built this thing and how we're setting up the gates and whatnot for it. I think I'm going to feed my my pipe signals in from here, and they'll travel the kind of backwards. So up here where I've got the diamonds, and it's, yeah, actually that will work because I need to be able to send all the signals through. So we're not going to use them here, but we will run all four colors. We'll just start from up here. We'll start with red. Work all the way back because red was our first color. So okay, that's good to there. Now blue, I think we may take blue from up here. We'll take it from the water source coming in. And that's why I love these cobblestone blocks. It allows it to bridge over. So that'll take our blue wire from the water all the way to these other engines. Let me get on the side where I can actually see the piping. Okay, yeah, it's already going over there. And I think, oh yeah, that's all we got to do. We just need to make it to that engine. All right, so I'll still have to come up and run it up and then back down to the pump, but we'll take care of that later. But all right, so green comes on this side. This was the yellow engine or the green engine? This was the green. Okay, so the green actually stops at this point. So that's the short one. I'll run you up to there. Yellow came from... Oh, come on. I guess it was already there. Oh, yeah, it is. Okay, so yellow comes from the second engine. And we'll send that up there. And then the red's already done. Okay, so good. So we got our power run. Let's head back up top and we'll... Up right here. Alright. Oops. Get myself turned around. There we go. That was our main pipe coming up. And like I said, that will be heading over that way. We'll probably cut this off and yeah, I'll reuse these. I don't need the power from that first engine with none of the gates on it. I don't need that one yet. Okay. So we'll end up running our piping all the way across here, and then I'll probably take my cobblestone and run it from here over to above my room, which I'm probably going to have to do a little clearing out. But I'll have the cobblestone coming up from each one and probably connect like each group of 3 engines. So like all the switches that control this power plant will come up separately from their switch, but they'll meet up above the roof and just take one path back because I can run all 3 piping colors on the one pipe, and the pipe color will only come from the gate that's attached to that switch. So that'll give me a little more freedom in what I run. So yeah, we'll run that, and then the water coming from here. Yep, that'll end up running back over here, coming down there, or maybe even I might even jump it from there over to here just to make it a shorter path, and that'll run into our engine down there. So I'm going to do that real quick off camera, and then we'll come back and pick it back up after I got that done. Alrighty, so got our initial set, our bank of controls put in. This is going to be 1, 2, and 3 of our first engine set. Got it set at no or redstone signal off to get a pipe signal, or yep, yellow or red pipe signal, yellow pipe signal, green pipe signal. So that way when I flip the switch on, it'll turn off the redstone torch and that'll turn on the system. And we'll go up top and show you how we routed the wiring on this. Alrighty. Using the cobblestone piping. Came up and ran it all the way across. Like I said, we can run everything on one single pipe. Come over to this point where it then connects onto the conductive pipe, and then it runs down and this goes into that first engine there. Once it goes through the engine, it comes back up through this water piping system, drops down here on that water piping system. I really like how the conductive or the cobblestone pipe allows me to route all this. And then it comes here into our pump for our water. And that right now is set that if there's a red pipestone or a red pipe signal, we'll get power, redstone power, green or yellow. So if any of those get turned on, this is going to turn on. And as long as the engine's green, we'll get the blue pipe signal, which will go back and turn these on. I had it set to green, blue, or orange. Oh, I'm sorry, no, I didn't. I had it set on traversing energy. Problem was feeding 2 directions. It was doing the blinky blinky, and it just kept turning on and off, and that would have meant these engines would have tried to turn on and off, but as soon as they turned on and got warmed up, I would have had to wait, 10-15 seconds for it to turn on for another half a second. Not bueno, not good. So we have it set to the engine green. So as you see right now, it's blue, so I'm not going to get power. So when I first turn my switch on to start power on, it's going to have to wait for about a minute or 2 for the engine to prime and go into the green mode. Once it goes green, then it'll send back our blue pipe signal coming through here, which will go into these AND gates. As long as we have, for this one, a red pipe and a blue pipe, we'll get the redstone. If I've only got the switch on, as this is an AND gate, the engines won't turn on. It requires the signal coming from my water. Same thing. Even if that water is blue, without having the switch turned on, this bank of engines won't work. And then of course over here we have the yellow engine and the green engine. So that is our setup. Now if we head back over here, we'll reroute our power for that first assembly room. So we're taking power from 2 of these. So we're gonna go back to here and we'll take basically engines 2 and 3 are gonna be what we use to power our lasers. Now I'm gonna do a little experimenting because I'm not positive, but I think if these guys connect up here like this, it might send enough power to run all 6. Because, you know, running 4 engines through one pipe was enough for 4 lasers, so maybe connecting these 2 will give us 8 lasers, and that might be enough, which is what my plan, we're going to find out here, is we'll go ahead and connect you up, and of course we'll drop down here, and we'll connect you up, and then I need to go back over. Do I have any of the golden conductive? I think all I got is conductive right now. I have 1 golden, but that's not enough. I gotta get back into my chest over here, grab a few more golden because I want to space those out and make sure we're sending full power here. We'll pop up over here. Got these little hatches everywhere for while I'm doing the building part of this. So we'll throw you there. You're there. I think I got golden coming up at the bottom. I'll put one here just since it's sending it down, and then over to that. And maybe one here. If everything goes blue, I'll come back and start replacing some of these with just standard conductive pipe. That way we can kind of work it out. All I need for these, those first 2 engines, is for them to turn all 8 of my lasers blue. And however I can accomplish that will be fine. I think I'll route the power from engine number 1. We'll go back to my, I think I'm going to run that back to my quarry, because I would like to have that running tonight too. So I'll get this all hooked up, turn it down, let it run all night, and we'll see if everything stays. Considering doing the obsidian around here, because I think I may have one space between. No, that's going to be water. I'm trying to see if there's a way to space them a little bit more. If I had more room, I could try and encase each one, with the exception of where the piping is, in obsidian, just in case something were to go wrong, it wouldn't take all the other ones out. What was I oh yeah. Alright, so we should be good to go. Let's go ahead and get out of the room. And we'll flip the switches for those 2 engines and we'll see what happens. Hopefully it should work. Once I do this too, then I'm going to go through here and we'll label these to say, you know, assembly room, or assembly room 1 lasers. Well, we'll figure something out. I want it to specify, you know, what each one of these are for. This one will say quarry power. And I'm kind of excited about the quarry because I normally only have 3 engines on it, but this will actually be 4 engines. So we'll have a little bit extra power going to it, so we'll see if it speeds things up a little more. Alrighty. So we've got yellow and green. That's right, yeah, because I didn't turn on the red one. Yellow going over there, green going over. Well, actually, they're both all the way going through. So if I click on the engine here, or sorry, the gate. There we go. See, we have true for yellow signal. and we have a true for the green signal. Now it's just waiting on the blue. So if we come over to the water should actually be pumping right now, and it is. Because as you see, we've got a true for both the green signal coming in and the yellow. So it's pumping. As soon as this goes to green, that should give us the green pipe signal heading backwards, and then it should see our activity on the engines. Other thing I need to do is probably send my blue pipe signal downstairs as well. And actually, no, I'm not. I think the fuel coming into here, I'm just gonna put a pipe, a gate on the pump downstairs that just says if there's room in the tank to turn on. That way, I'll only use fuel when I need to. So when this thing um, uses a little bit of fuel, it'll turn on and it'll pump, but it'll also be heated up to the point where it's not going to be able to turn right back on. So it'll shut off, and then it'll sit off for maybe a minute or two before it finally cools down enough, and then it'll kick on for 4 or 5 seconds, long enough to fill it up again. But it'll continually keep this full, which is important because we don't want the water to ever stop pumping. The water from here is heading down to that fuel pump, so that'll keep it cooled even if it were to run for an extended amount of time. But yeah, it's all self-automated now. I shouldn't say self-automated, but one switch activates it all now. I flip the green switch and fuel gets pumped upstairs, fuel gets pumped into the water pump turns on, pumps water back to the engines, and yeah, everything should be able to run, so I can just basically walk in there, flip the switch, go to bed. I don't have to run around my power plant checking a whole bunch of switches anymore, which kind of excites me. It's all coming together. As you can see, this is how much fuel I ended up with. This one's semi-full, and this one's semi-full, and this one's semi-full. So I have a decent amount of fuel. I don't have any oil left. I am completely out now. So I will continue running on what I have until I start getting low, and then I'll make that long trek out to my initial oil field, collect all the pipes, mine my way to my new oil field, reinstall all the pipes, and then I can start pumping oil there. And once I do that, then I'll go ahead and automate that process as well, using the same gates as far as fuel. If there's room in the tanks, turn on the pump. As soon as it's full, shut off the pump. Keep everything automated. The biggest thing is for a lot of these engines is I just need more materials. I want my quarry running because I need more gold. The biggest thing I'm having issues with is gold. I have more than enough iron and more than enough soul forged steel with my pottery going crazy. And as you can see, we just hit green, so now we've got a blue pipe signal heading back. We'll head over here. And I need fuel. There we go. That'll pump my fuel over there. I didn't even need to do this, so technically I guess I can just go back and dump this back into my tank. Crisis averted. So that'll send us our fuel over here. We'll drop down and wait for it to get there. And there, let's see. Oh. I haven't even, silly me, I haven't even run the rest of my piping, so orange and or yellow and green can't work. So we'll go turn those off, turn on the red one. I just want to show the engine functioning from having the lever turned. So water's already primed, so just doing that will be enough to start that first set of engines as soon as it gets fuel. And we got the fuel coming in, and there we go. We have our engine starting to turn as they get fuel. They are kicking in, and that will be sending power. Right now it's only sending power into the intake because I don't actually have power going anywhere from this engine. So, alright, so with that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stop recording. I'm going to run my water and my fuel pipes down for these other two engines so we can get our assembly plant started. I'm going to take this is going to go straight down because we're running this engine is going down. I've got a tunnel where I'd actually ran some waterproof pipe earlier to try to see about pumping my fuel out to my quarry so I wouldn't have to keep running back and forth with buckets. But when the thing blew up and I went back to my save, I was just like, you know what? I'll wait until I get my conductives going, or my engines going, and I'll just run conductive over there. So we'll end up just going straight down and over. So I'm gonna do that real quick, and then I'll come back. I'll show those off, and that'll probably be an episode here. So I'll be right back. All right. So we used the sealing to better route our water for the other two engines. Like I said, we're using the same pump over here to pump all of our fuel. I think once they're full, it'll be enough to keep it filled. The only issue I may run into is the water for it, and was using the water that came off this one. What I may end up needing to do, because I know we can run one pump can do fine with two engines. So what I'm thinking I can do is maybe instead of using one of the water off one of the ones going up there, we'll just go ahead and tap it off of here. Just do that, and then that goes away. Alright, good. That way, all these ones are only feeding two engines, and these pumps here aren't going to be on all the time. They'll only be on when they sense that there's empty tanks to fill. So that should, I think that'll work. I'm still going to have to come up with a whole nother water plant for this engine system, or for this power system right here. And I may just end up doing that back in this corner here or something like that. And then again, for the power plant over here, it'll also need a separate water system. So, we'll figure out how to do that. But the key is that now my first two engines here have fuel. I don't want to do that. Alright, we got fuel. Got fuel. Again, not a lot of pressure, but you don't need a lot of pressure for fuel. So now we'll head back over this way, and we'll turn on those two engines again. And then, let's see, do I have anything in here? Yeah, well, I'm going to turn you off so when I come in here we can see the lasers activate. Alrighty. I'll end up automating the coolant, or I shouldn't say the coolant, but the fuel system here, probably before the next episode. So I'll probably just show that off just to show how everything works, and then show the power heading out to my quarry, and then we'll see what we come up with as our next major project. So as you can see now, these engines are now fully functioning. Really like having control over all these engines from one single control room. I think it's kind of cool. Alright, so let's see. Let's go ahead and make some pipe wire, and let's see how many of these activate. Be cool if we could see 8 of them go blue all at once. Alright, they're all 8 are firing. Yellow, red, oh, and there's 8 blue. What did I do? What happened? Oh, Did I run out of redstone? I bet you I did. Dang it. I was like, yeah, that's cool. And then it stops, and I'm like, first thing that I think of, and my heart just drops, and I'm like, oh god, did I just blow up my power plant? But no. No, just ran out of redstone. There we go. I knew I had some somewhere. My scattered chest. I'll probably build... Well, I need the materials before I can build it, so I guess we'll just be happy with what I got right now. And then we'll start quarrying, and once I kill that quarry, move on to the next one. And then I think, then I might look into making that cool little mob trap down in the big hole that we have. Man, look at that go. Wow, okay, and then I just ran out of iron. That is rather quick. Oops. Let's make sure we don't kill anything important. Okay. Nice. Alright, well, I think that is a good episode. So, please rate, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this. Leave a comment, leave a question, leave a suggestion. Like it if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you haven't already for all my future videos and tutorials. Hope you enjoyed this episode. I enjoyed making it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.